Shalom, Kahala Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai Bashem Rakakwadash. Double honors to the elder apostles and elder bishops of GMS, including the elders that came before them that taught us the truth. Shalom and salutations to all the brothers out pushing the word and truth and in sincerity, the hopeful elect tabernacle of David. All right, this is going to be a short lesson on how this thing is moving from the beginning of sorrows into Jacob's trouble proper, right? And they're speeding up. If you're watching, if you're on your watch, right, you can see it speeding up. Other people see it. The devil sees it. The preppers see it. They're getting scared, right? And it's almost time to mock when people's fear cometh. All right, so we can start right here in Matthew 24, I guess. Let me see. Let's just go to 21. All right. This is the Jacob's trouble. Let's see. Let's get beginning of sorrows first. Bear with me. And I'm going to just get 8. And I'm going to come back to 8. Matthew 24 and 8. All these are the beginning of sorrows. Okay, and it has a list of things, right, that are going to happen. All right. But the end is not yet. All right, let's read it. Matthew 24 and 5. For many shall come in my name, saying, I am Hamashiach, and shall deceive many. We got scoffers. We got false teachers. You shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that you be not troubled, for all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. And we got wars, and we have rumors of war. For nation must rise against nation, kingdom against kingdom. There shall be famines and pestilences and earthquakes and diverse. But all of these things are in place right now. Okay, we're clearly watching those things. All right, but that's not what I'm talking about. Read 8 again. All these are the beginning of sorrows. Now we'll jump down, right, and we'll read 21. For then shall be great tribulation, such as was not since the beginning of the world to this time, no, nor ever shall be. Okay, so this is Jacob's trouble in the thick of it. All right, not the beginning of it, which we've crossed the Rubicon. We're in it. The beginning of it. Now we're watching it escalate exponentially, and it's going to start moving quicker and quicker. Where's that at? Right here. Okay. 22, and except those days should be shortened, right? Time is speeding up. Why? Because the Most High shortened the days. Why? There should no flesh be saved, but for the elect's sake. Those days shall be shortened. We're in the shortening of days. So it seems like, these atrocities and things are happening back to back and on top of each other because the days are shorter now. All right. And if you remember back 10, 15 years ago, it was more widespread, or not widespread, but spaced out, if you understand. Okay. So let's see. All right. So, and that's the point. Let's go here to, where was I? Oh, let's go to Second Ezra 16. Let's get to some of the mayhem, right? Let's see. Should I go to 15? So, Lockie, bear with me. I'm kind of doing this in the spirit. Yeah, let's go to 15. Salakia. The 15th chapter. Here we are. Start at 14. Woe is me. Second Ezra 15 and 14. Woe to the world and them that dwell therein. For the sword and their destruction draweth nigh. And one people shall stand up and fight against another, and swords in their hands. For there shall be sedition among men, and invading one another. They shall not regard their kings nor princes, and the course of their actions shall stand in their power. A man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able, for because of their pride, the city shall be troubled, the houses shall be destroyed, and men shall be afraid. A man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, but shall destroy their houses with the sword and spoil their goods because of the lack of bread and for great tribulation. All right, so we're in these times right now, whether you understand that or not. Okay, we're not saying that they're coming; they're here, and it's getting to the point where people can't ignore it or can't quantify it, no matter how hard they try not to see it. Okay, so we're gonna watch my boy Travis here at Prepared Homestead. He's gonna break it down, right? And he's gonna bring out a little footage himself. But just look at his title. This is 5 hours ago, right? The title reads "Violence in the Streets." Isn't that what we just read in 2 Ezra 15? Violence in the streets, a society in decline. Okay, what is that? What does this bring to mind? A society in decline. Babylon is fallen, is fallen. Okay, it's Lucifer is fallen like lightning from heaven, right? There is no more wisdom in teaming. Here we go. Take it away, Travis.
Hi, folks. Welcome to the Prepared Homestead. This is Travis. Thank you all for stopping by to watch. Well, the weather is back to being chilly again. Yesterday, we topped out at around 81 degrees, and it's about 40 degrees right now. Had some storms run through last night. We did pretty well here, just a little bit of hail and a lot of rain, but there was certainly some areas that got some pretty damaging weather in our area. We just were fortunate enough to not get a lot of it here. Folks, one of the signs that a society is in decline and is well collapsing, to put it not so nicely, is when you see the population in general is starting to kind of lose control of itself. Lots of violence, lots of chaos, just people behaving badly, not just on a small scale with maybe one or two individuals here and there, but mass individuals. We're starting to see that a lot. We're starting to see just a lot of bad things happen because people are just behaving badly. And I've talked about that quite often here on this channel lately. And it's true. We're watching just absolute chaos happen all over the place, especially the bigger cities. It's not just concentrated to a few areas anymore, which is where it has mostly been in the past. You know, there were always certain cities that had certain areas in those cities that everyone just knew to avoid because that's where all the bad stuff happens.
Now, what he's saying is jumping right out of the scriptures. The prophecies coming to pass. All right? He's breaking it down. And this is after the Rubicon, just past the beginning, where it's noticeable. And you can't ignore it anymore. And the preppers, he's a prepper, so he's prepared. He knew that this was coming, right? And the devil knows that this is coming. Things are spiraling out of control to the point where it's noticeable. And you know it's going to get worse. And he's putting it into words, okay? And we're going to let him continue to talk. I'm just saying that this is where we're at now. And as a prepper, he's saying he's ready. They think they're ready, but they ain't ready for what the Most High is about to bring. It's going to be, when you understand the scripture, it says, more so than any other time since the world began. And we're going to get a couple of precepts that back that right after this.
Crime is. It's where the people kind of lose their mind. Anymore, it's happening all over. Yesterday, there were some more mass shootings, one down in Alabama, another one in Louisville, Kentucky. There was another one. I fail to remember where it was at, but I believe there were at least three yesterday. Some of these had multiple victims. Um, we've seen that quite often here. Just last week or a few days ago, really, there was a shooting there at the bank in Louisville, Kentucky. There's been violence. I believe the other one yesterday was in Pennsylvania at a college or university. There's been lots of reported shootings at universities and other areas around the world, around the country. We're also seeing just, I don't even know how to put it, large hordes of people just kind of going crazy, uh, almost like a combination between mass rioting and smash and grabs, where just hundreds and hundreds of people take to the streets and they're just tearing stuff up. They're becoming violent. They're fighting. They're destroying vehicles and buildings, much like what we saw during the BLM Summer of Love, but really in a lot of ways worse than that. Here's some video show you from Chicago. This was last night in Chicago. Yes.
Look at Jake, and he's referencing Jake with a dog whistle and the BLM, and it's these Negroes. But hey, we're gonna see what's gonna happen here, because Esau's scared losing his mind. Okay, you got the 2/3 out there wilding, right? How does that make Esau feel? It makes him clutch his firearm a little tighter.
Afternoon and last night in Chicago. And there's quite a bit of footage online of it where just people are just being crazy. They're out there in the streets, hundreds and hundreds, thousands of them, tearing things up, beating each other up, assaulting people. We've seen in recent days, different parts of the country are kind of going into certain types of curfews and lockdowns. Baltimore, Maryland, the mayor there this past week issued an indefinite curfew order for minors because of the amount of violence that's been taking place on the streets in Maryland, there in Baltimore. We saw this a couple of weeks ago during spring break down in Florida, where they had to issue a state of emergency order because of the amount of mass violence, rioting, vandalism, assaults, and shootings in the streets down in certain places in Florida. We're seeing this kind of stuff happen all over. Now we've got a lot of the transgender, trans rights protests and stuff. There was some yesterday, apparently, in Austin, Texas. There was also some over the last few days in California. And a lot of these trans activists, they're assaulting people, and nothing's being done about it. There's a video out there in California where there's police officers within 4 or 5 feet. I mean, they could literally put their hand on the shoulder of the person being assaulted, and the person's being assaulted, punched and hit and pushed by these protesters, and the police do nothing about it. The person's even crying out for help, asking for the police officers, please help me, and they're just completely ignoring it. When we start to see images like this, and I'm really only mentioning a few, it's not like I'm pulling the absolute worst out there and highlighting it. These kinds of events are happening at a very, very regular pace. Almost daily now, we're having shootings, we're having some type of mass violence happen.
And the sheriff is standing down. See, the sheriff is the first one to yoke you up, right? This is in California. That's the California Sheriff Department. They're supposed to run and grab the dude that went up and cold cock, sucker punch. He was supposed to be in cuffs. So they know they're outnumbered. They know it could get bad. They have to draw that service revolver and start doing like they do Jake, and they're not doing that. So you know there's a spirit going on out there. The Most High is ramping things up, and he's forcing things to spiral out of control. I'm going to keep watching. This guy's doing great. And
when these events start happening at a more increased rate, I think it's a pretty good indicator.
At a more increased, when these things, I'm going to play that again, because that's a precept. I'm going to have to grab a precept on that. Listen to what he's saying. When these things start happening at a more increased rate, That's right out the
A
scripture.
very regular pace. Almost daily now, we're having shootings, we're having some type of mass violence happen. And when these events start happening at a more increased rate, I think it's a pretty good indicator that our society is really declining fast at that point.
This is amazing. So let's get that. Let's go back to 16. Let's get birth pangs. Not birth pangs, but how quickly. Let's see. Bear with me. As a woman that travaileth. Right here. 2nd Ezra 16 and 37. Behold, the plagues draw nigh and are not slack. Okay, he's saying more frequently and one on top of another. As when a woman with child in the 9th month bringeth forth her son, with 2 or 3 hours of her birth, great pains compass her womb, which pains when the child come forth, they slack not a moment. Even so shall not the plagues be slack to come upon the earth, and the world shall mourn, and sorrow shall come up upon it on every side. Let me see. NLT. Let me try to get this in the NLT. Bear with me while I do this. Let's see. Gonna go. 2nd Ezra's, what was it, 37? Yeah. 2nd Ezra 16. Bear with me, please. Let's see, 2nd Ezra. Let's see if I can find this. Good news. GNT. Does that do anything? NLT. Let's see. Slovakia. That's common. Not quite. Slovakia sure how to work this. Let me see. Let's try this. 37. It says, 2nd Ezra 16:30. Here is the Lord's word. Accept it. Don't disbelieve the things that the Lord speaks. Look, the disasters are approaching and won't be delayed. A woman in the 9th month of pregnancy, when the hour for giving birth arrives, experiences great pains around her womb for 2 or 3 hours beforehand. But when the infant is ready to come forth from the womb, she doesn't delay for a moment. In the same way, these disasters won't delay to come forth on the earth, but the world will groan and pangs will envelope it. Okay, that's pretty good, but this is what this guy is saying. All right. He's saying, listen to that again. It's saying that not only are these things increasing, but they're coming faster and faster, and they're everywhere. Okay? They're everywhere. Get that one more time. And sorrow shall come up upon it on every side. They're everywhere. Okay? Not just in one place, but the whole world will mourn. Get that. What is it? Let's see. Right here. And the world shall mourn. The world. Okay? All right? So this isn't just in Babylon the Great. This is everywhere. All right? And that's what he's saying. I'm going to back it up just a little. Try to encompass what he's saying is very clear.
For the police officers, please help me, and they're just completely ignoring it. When we start to see images like this, and I'm really
she's waving him away, and they're leaving. This is the sheriff's department. She's waving him away. Get out of here. We're handling. They're holding this person hostage after this person got smooth, cold cocked, sucker punched. and they're waving. They couldn't do anything. Watch this. It's out of control. So very soon, uh, the police aren't going to be able to, they're going to have to stand down. That's what they're doing right here. They saw what happened. Watch this.
There's a video out there in California where there's police officers within 4 or 5 feet.
Boom.
I mean, they could literally put their
Point it
hand
at
on the
him.
shoulder of the person being
Watch
assaulted.
this guy. Wave him
And
away.
the person's being assaulted, punched and
Get
hit
out of
and
here.
pushed by these protesters,
Look.
and the police do nothing about it. The
Get outta
person's
here.
even
Get outta
crying out for help, asking for the police officers, please help me, and they're just
outta
completely
here.
ignoring it. When we start to see images like this, and I'm really only mentioning a few,
Wow.
it's not like I'm pulling the absolute worst out there and highlighting it. These kinds of events are happening at a very, very regular pace. Almost daily now, we're having shootings, we're having some type of mass violence happen. And when these
Wow.
events start happening at a more increased rate, I think it's a pretty good indicator that our society is really declining fast at that point. And it's something that us as prepared-minded people, we need to be aware of this kind of stuff and start really preparing and understanding that these are very much indicators, just as much as indicators as when we start hearing parts of Europe wanting to dump the U.S. dollar, or all of these countries wanting to stop trade in the U.S. dollar, or China threatening to go to war against us. Those kind of things are major events that indicate a decline in Americans' prominence and a changing of the world order. And just in that same way, when we start seeing the level of violence and chaos that's happening in American streets, we can also chalk that up to a decline and a coming collapse. This is, so many people just, I don't know. I'm kind of tired of the arguing over it, but you need to get out of these cities. I'd say that, and I get attacked by so many people that I'm awful for saying that, and I just don't understand, and the cities aren't that bad, and that's where I'm supposed to be, and blah.
Flee ye into the mountains. Okay. So that's remarkable to watch the police stand down like, let's get that they shall not regard. Okay, let's get that. Let's see. Bear with me for a moment. That's 16. Let's get 15. They shall not regard their kings nor princes. That's it. Right here. I'll read it again. This is 2 Ezra 15 and 16. For there shall be sedition among men and invading one another. They shall not regard their kings nor princes. And the course of their actions shall stand in their path. They're not listening to the law. They're not listening to the police. They're not listening to, they're not abiding by the laws. They're doing what the fuck they want in front of the patty rollers, if you will. Okay? That's crazy. Look at this. Let's read 18. For because of their pride, what? The city shall be troubled. And I'm playing on the words right there. The houses shall be destroyed and men shall be afraid. For because of their what? Look at this dude. For because of their pride. This. Where is it? Can I get this? They're not giving it to me. Let me see.
Currently in Austin, Texas, there was.
For because of their pride. You can't make this up. Where is it? For because of their pride, the city shall be troubled. That's pretty troubling. You going downtown to mail a letter, you walk up on a parade, right? And they got the rainbow flag out, And before you know it, you're surrounded. The cops are standing right there, and you're getting punched in the face, right? And the cops walk away. They're holding, they're holding that. That's kidnapping. This dude's getting beat up in front of the cops. Watch that. Let's watch that one more time, and I'm gonna close it. Let me see. That's pretty remarkable. Where did that go? This is amazing. I'm gonna turn the volume down. Watch this. Keep your eye on this guy. Watch. I'm gonna show you. Um, the guy gets hit, right? Now, see, he's being held hostage right here. This guy. This is the straight guy. This guy is with the trans community. Look at all of these sheriffs. They all got service pistols with them. They're fully loaded. They got body armor. They got tasers. They got everything. This is the California Sheriff's Department. And these guys are rough, right? They will jack you up if they got the numbers on you. And they know in this situation that they don't have the numbers. This dude, watch that blow again. That was a significant blow. Look at that. This dude, he reared back. He comes up and cold cocks this dude's sucker punch. Watch. Pop! Ooh, that was for real. This guy's holding him hostage situation. Now they all come in. The sheriffs, they should have jumped on him when that happened, right? They know they're outnumbered. This guy waves them away. This guy is still being held hostage. Then he breaks free. He sees an opportunity because he's not being helped. And then he runs. He breaks free and he runs. Keep your eye on this guy. He breaks free. They had him hostage. He runs. There he is. They're still not helping him. They still didn't get the culprit. They haven't grabbed anybody. That dude got the, you see that? Gosh. Chaos. Okay, so the cops ain't doing nothing. All right. Let's get a couple and we'll go ahead and get out. So this thing is becoming out of control. Let's get Jacob's Trouble. Jeremiah. It's a locket for going so long. Jeremiah 30:7. Alas, for that day is great, so that none is like it. It is even the time of Jacob's trouble. There's the name of it. It is even the time of Jacob's trouble, but he shall be saved out of it. Who? Who is he? The elect of Israel. Okay, but the point is here's where we're at. We're in the time of Jacob's trouble. Let's get Daniel. We'll close it. Daniel 12:1. And at that time shall Michael stand up. What time? This time, there's that time again. It is even the time of what? Jacob's trouble. Michael's going to have to stand up, that great prince which standeth for the children of thy people, the elect of Israel. And there shall be a time, Jacob's trouble, the time of Jacob's trouble. Of trouble. What time of trouble? Jacob's trouble, such as never was, since there was a nation, even to that same time. Okay? And I'll read the rest. And at that time shall thy people be delivered, the elect of Israel, everyone that shall be found written in the book, the elect. Okay? So just to wake up, hey, you got to be careful out there because guess what? The spirit of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai is making those cops stand down, making them cower, really. They're afraid of the trans. They were outnumbered, and it could have got bad out there. They didn't have enough troops, if you will. So they did what was appropriate. They they bitched up, right? Because the Most High done put the spirit on them to attack, right? So we got to be circumspect out here now, all right? So with that, we're going to go ahead and end it. We hope that the elector edified you brothers and few sisters with that shalom.